It's time for the film room, and on this episode, we're taking a look at Georgia Tech edge rusher Keion White. If you're not familiar with what I do in these videos, I like to take a look at these players, in this case Keion White, take clips from his games to showcase the type of player that he is, what he could become, where he fits in the NFL, and all of that. And White is an interesting player who had a very good Senior Bowl, and his best football is ahead of him. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tape. Now, the first thing that stands out to me about Keion White is he's an athlete, and he plays with such a good motor. Here he is lined up in between the right tackle and the right guard, kind of that 4-eye. And at the snap, he's going to fight through both of their blocks to get a quarterback hurry and get the quarterback to force the ball out. And it's just this agility and tenacity. He's fighting through each of those blocks. He's using some power, a spin move right there. And it's just this agility that he has, the quickness, the burst, and just the never quit attitude that gets him in there to cause the quarterback to have to burn this ball. This quarterback's like, I'm going to get sacked. Let's just throw it over the receiver's head out of bounds and live another day. All right, and as I said, he is an athlete. Here he is lined up, about 7 technique, and he's just going to burst off the line untouched, but he's aware that he sees this quarterback is rolling out and just be able to put a foot down, chase him out, and make a play on him and have him to force to keep, the quarterback had to speed up there. If you watch how the quarterback's going, he sees him coming. He has to pick up his speed a little bit, and it causes maybe him to lose his timing. But Keion White's just that change of direction, that burst. Yes, he didn't get a hand. He didn't get a sack. But I think he affected this play a little bit. And it's just that athleticism, once again, that burst, that quickness that we see out of him to be able to make plays. Another example of Keion White's athleticism, here he is lined up, shading the inside of the left tackle, not that 4-eye position. And at the snap of the ball, he engages here with the tight end, but he's able to, what I like here is flatten down this line to be able to make a play. And sure, the quarterback was probably already going to be tackled, but I'm looking at his traits, and he gets free. He sees the quarterback coming. It's just this quick recognition. We saw that with the play before. We see it here again. Sees the quarterback moving up, puts his foot down, and just is able to go laterally. Not a lot of guys can do that. They may have to turn. And he's just able to kind of just make that lateral move to go in there and help get that stop for no gain. And it's just that awareness to see it, but then that lateral agility to be able to just put that foot down and burst over to the side to help make a play. Now, in all the games that I saw for Keion White, he was at his best in the run game. Here against Ole Miss, he's lined up over here, 3 technique, 4-eye, he's in the B gap. And they're going to run the ball to his side, and he's able to hold the point of attack while moving laterally, but then sees that ball and is able to work inside off that block to get the tackle. And it's just that lateral agility, to slide, still be under control, and then once he sees that the run is coming, that power to shed that block, make a quick move to the inside to get that tackle. And, here's a guy that is, he's not big, he's not, 300 and some pounds, but he shows that strength right here to just be able to work his way back and make that tackle. All right, we see another example of that against Ole Miss. Here he is lined up inside the left tackle. And at the snap of the ball, he's going to go in, once again, mix it up with the guard, kind of set up to the outside. But he sees that, hey, there's a hole opening here. He works his way back, but then he's able to once again get right off of that. And you see the power. Watch this left guard. He's got his hand in there, and he's pushing him back. He made that left guard get off balance, and he used his strength and power at the point of attack to be able to, in essence, play 2 gaps there and prevent this running back from getting by him. It didn't matter what gap that running back was going to go into on that side. Keion White had both of them on lock, and he's able to burst, get off to his right and make that tackle. Here against Clemson, he's lined up once again on that right-hand side going against this left tackle. And he's just going to just control this point of attack. He gets his hand in there, stands up that left guard, and is able to work his way inside to help stop the running back from getting in the end zone. And it's just that ability, that strength at that point of attack to stand him up, create all the leverage, take away the leverage of the left guard, and be able to power through that to get inside for that tackle. And so we just see, I showed you that athleticism at the beginning. Now we're seeing the power, and yet still the quickness in that allows him to make plays in the run game. All right, so now if we transition over to rushing the quarterback. We saw the athleticism at the beginning. We saw his power and his ability to play the run. Let's look at him as a pass rusher. So here against Clemson, he is lined up on the left side going against this right tackle. And much like one of those early clips, he just uses his speed off the edge. This right tackle, I don't know if he thought he was cutting inside, but he sets up like an inside seal, and he just runs right past him, right to the quarterback, forces him to either ground the ball or at least he's incomplete. But it's just that speed. He was given a lane. He just burst off that line. I wouldn't say he has elite speed, but I think he has, very good burst right here. The lineman made a mistake. Quarterback made a mistake. Someone made a mistake, and he was able to use his speed and quickness to make them pay. All right, we see another example of him as a pass rusher, this time against Georgia. Here he is lined up, just shading the inside of the left tackle, and he's going to slant down and go hard after this left guard, and he uses his speed and power to get this guard stood up and falling back. And then I like his hand usage to be able to rip through there. And yes, the quarterback got rid of the ball quick, but this still doesn't take away from Keion White's ability to get in and get some pressure. I mean, this was a quick move to get in. He didn't waste much time getting into the backfield, and it was all that burst, the power, and then some good hands to kind of rip his way through. And then lastly, we see him lined up, head up on this, outside shade of the left guard, and he's going to come in against this center, look to do a rip move, and I don't know if he got hit or what. Looks like he got tripped up on the left guard's knee, but this shows once again he had the burst, attacked right at that center, right at this center, hits him with power, jolts him back, and then looks a little rip move right there. If he didn't get hit on the side right here, and that's going to happen, looks like he got caught up, feet tangled with that left guard. He might have got in there, got a quarterback hit, hurry, something like that. But just that speed to power, especially when he's slanting, really can catch these offensive linemen off, and then he's showing the ability to use his hands to get off those blocks like what we saw in the run game. There is a lot to like about Keion White as it relates to being an NFL draft prospect. I mean, here's a guy who is 6'5", 280 pounds. So he's got good speed, good size. We saw here that he's a good athlete. Here's a guy that started his career as a tight end at Old Dominion, and he started there. He transitioned over to defensive end, and then he ended up transferring to Georgia Tech this past year. And had a good year. And I still think his best football is ahead of him. I see a lot of raw potential and a lot of a guy that is ascending. Here he shows the ability to play both inside and out. He can rush from the inside. He can rush from the outside. He can set the edge. He can penetrate. He can get off blocks. So there's a lot to like about him. I kind of see him being a base defensive end. kind of playing a lot of that 5 technique, but I think a lot of defensive coordinators are going to see him as someone they can kind of move around, and he can reduce inside as a pass rusher. I don't think he's going to play inside on a regular basis, but I think a team that knows how to use him, who wants to move him around, he's going to have a lot of success. So I think he can play in a 3-4 defense. I think he can play in a 4-3. I think you kind of want him attacking if you're in a 3-4, but I think he has a lot of appeal. I do think he's probably a second-round pick. There was some talk, especially after his really good Senior Bowl, that he could go, in the first round, but that's kind of cooled off. So I think he's going to be a top 50 pick. So top half of that second round. I think the Tennessee Titans would be a good fit for him. Defensive end is not a big need, but I think he fits exactly with what they want to do. So that wouldn't surprise me. But there will be definitely a lot of teams that are going to be very interested in Keion White. All right, so that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this episode of the Film Room. Remember, the best way to get this is to subscribe. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for all the notifications. While you're out there, follow me on social media. Draft_Brian is where you can find me. But thanks for watching, and until next time.